With the recent national financial downturn and influencers who typically find their inboxes bombarded with inbound brand partnerships experiencing a quieter fourth quarter than normal, lots of creators are wondering, where does this leave us heading into a period of economic slowdown? In today's video, we're going to get down to business and talk about where influencers and the creator economy as a whole stands right now, as well as share some strategies you might want to consider implementing to prepare your business for anything, including a potential recession. If you're new here, I'm a fashion and beauty creator based in New York City, and I use this channel to help you create great content for your digital brand and earn sustainable income from content creation. So if any of that interests you, please consider subscribing. The three main things I want to discuss in this video are where the creator economy stands right now, get into some long-term strategies you can apply to your own business as a creator, and also talk about what some of the biggest industry-wide shifts and changes could be for creators to keep in mind going into 2023. I'm a full-time content creator, and in November, I spoke with Business Insider about the current state of my business with a specific focus on the expectations versus reality of the fourth quarter. So Q4, also known as the last few months of the calendar year, is typically a busy time for influencers and creators, myself included. If you look at the trend of marketing and advertising overall, this makes sense because in the first quarter, brands will usually delegate a large chunk of their marketing budgets for the end of the year with a big push towards holiday shopping and spending. And with more and more companies moving away from traditional advertising and towards influencer marketing, this tends to be a pretty profitable time for content creators. In fact, in 2021, over half of my income that I made for the entire year came from Q4. So I decided to go back and look at the distribution of when I made the most money within Q4 of last year. And last year, October was the month in which I signed the most brand deals, which makes sense because in October, brands are looking ahead to campaigns that will go live in November and December, and you need a little bit of lead time before those campaigns get fulfilled. However, by the end of this October, I had only signed one contract, and conversations that I'd been having with brands seemed to fizzle out rather than lead to signed deals. So naturally, I was thinking, what the heck is going on? And I realized that I was not alone because I was reading other articles where a lot of content creators said that they had noticed a slowdown, that they had fewer inbound requests, and they found themselves pitching more brand partners rather than in the past the brands had been coming to them. So I took a step back, I looked at all the facts, not just my situation, and as a content creator of over 10 years, here's what I'm starting to notice. I think first of all, even if this period of time is a tiny bit slow, it's hard to ignore the growth of the creator economy as a whole. By the end of 2022, it is still projected to be valued at over $16 billion, which is a jump from the 13.8 it was valued at the end of 2021. And so then you might be wondering, it sounds like there's money here, so what's going on then with the holiday brand deals? However, if you look at the industry and the economy as a whole, it all comes back to a concept that's not new whatsoever, and that is supply and demand. When we look at this in terms of supply and demand, the demand I don't think has actually gone anywhere. There are still brands out there who are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars paying content creators to advertise their products and services to their specific audiences. And as a result, we have more creators than ever who are not just creating content, but who have chosen to monetize their content creation and make this a business. And as a result, we have a greater supply of creators than we've ever had before. The point here being that since brands have more creators to choose from than ever before, I think they're just being more selective with their choices. I think that right now, brands are seeing creators who have really high above average engagement rates and also creators who reach so many more people if they have a larger audience, that those are the types of creators that they are going for right now. I'm the first to admit I have not necessarily been prioritizing Instagram and TikTok over the last few months. I've been hard at work creating and fine-tuning digital products, creating long-form content for YouTube and my blog, and working on some more educational resources for you all that I'm sure I'll share more about soon. And even though there are lots of brands still paying creators, and I think of these as kind of the big household name brands or the conglomerate brands, when you think about mid-tier brands and small businesses, they are probably going to be looking much more closely at the dollars that they're spending to make sure that if they're spending a dollar, especially on marketing or advertising, that they really are seeing a return on that investment. So that is where I think we stand right now. And the next question is kind of where do we go from here, and what can you as an individual creator do to prepare your business for a continued period of economic downturn and potentially fewer inbound brand deals. Before getting into specific strategies, I do think it's important to remember your why, right? Remember why you started creating content in the first place, whether it was to connect with people and build a community, or to ultimately become your own boss or run your own business. And that why is a guiding factor that won't be impacted by external forces, right? Things beyond your control, like the economy, brands, spending, all of that. Your why is an internal thing that won't change. And if you feel like you don't really know your why or your motivation behind creating and posting content online, I actually have a quiz inside of my free guide called the Influencer Launchpad that you can take to find your why and take to figure out what type of content creator am I? What type of content creator do I want to be, right? Because when we think about brand deals and who is getting brand deals right now, maybe you don't want to monetize with brand deals, and if you take this quiz to uncover what your why is, you can look into it more and say, if I don't want to monetize through brand deals, how can I still get paid to create in other ways or other areas? So I think that this will be very telling, and you can grab that free guide with another quiz and tons of other info down below in the description box. Now let's get into some key strategies that you can implement today in your creator business to help combat a period of economic slowdown. I think the first thing is cutting costs. And just like how I mentioned earlier that small businesses might be cutting their marketing or advertising costs in a period of financial uncertainty, this is also a good time to take a look at your expenses and see if there's anything that you no longer need. So take a few minutes to look through all of your expenses and see if there are any contractors or subscriptions that are no longer really necessary for your business or that you're not really seeing a return from. One subscription that I just ended in my creator business, and I'm actually a little sad about it, but at the end of the day I just wasn't using it, was Epidemic Sound. If you're not familiar, Epidemic Sound is a website where you can download and license music to use in your YouTube videos. So when I was vlogging and needed a lot of music to go with B-roll footage, and I wanted to add a lot of variety to my videos, Epidemic Sound was great for that, but I don't really vlog on this channel anymore, and in the interim, spending the $15 a month on it, I'd rather put that towards other things right now. So the only things I really needed to find and replace online were little tiny sound effects and also one song that I use at the end of my YouTube videos where it did not make sense for me to keep paying for the license just to use the song that I really loved from Epidemic Sound. Another key strategy that I think all influencers and content creators should be doing is to diversify your revenue streams. If you've followed me for a while, you know how important I think this is. If you're currently relying on one platform or one stream of income to make like 80% or more of your total revenue, you're going to want to change that. Let's take the examples of brand deals, right? I spent the first few minutes of this video talking about how I have personally received fewer brand offers this fourth quarter than at least the last 2 or 3 years before. And this is why I'm so grateful to have multiple streams of revenue, because while in the past I've been able to predict, I think I'll be able to earn X amount in each fourth quarter because of brand deals, even though that prediction has been off this year, I'm not in a full panic because I have other income streams to supplement myself in the short term, and I'm able to say, yeah, that sucks that I'm not getting as many brand deals as I would like right now, but I still have my workshop, I still have ad revenue, I still have affiliates. Like, there are still other ways that I'm able to make money, and things don't come to a screeching halt over here just because there aren't any active brand partnerships. And this brings me to a key distinction I want to mention about establishing multiple revenue streams is I think that having 1 or 2 revenue streams that are almost happening on autopilot or that are super low maintenance is a big sigh of relief, especially again in periods where maybe you're bringing in a little bit less than you anticipated, because this allows you to always have, even if it's a small amount, some recurring amount of money that you know will happen each month, whether or not you're actively maintaining that revenue stream. So one example for me is my YouTube ad revenue, right? Like if you go back and watch any of my old videos, there are ads on all of those. So you could be watching a video that I made 2 years ago, and if you watched an ad on that video, I still get paid like current day 2022 Austen still gets paid for that. Or maybe for you, it's going to be about writing blog posts that contain affiliate links so that as people find those blog posts even years later, they can still click through your affiliate links and you can still generate sales even when you're not actively out there saying, I published a new blog post, go look at my new blog post and go shop my affiliate links. So think about what other revenue streams you might be able to nurture or bring back to life or start fresh from if you want to add more ways to earn money to your profitable creator business. And on that note, the next strategy I want you to implement is to double down on what's working. Set aside 10 or 15 minutes later this week to go look at all of the income you've made this past year and figure out where the majority of that income was coming from, right? Of all of your different revenue streams, where did you make the most? Was it your digital products? Was it your YouTube ad revenue? Was it the TikTok creator fund? Go in and look to see where you were making the most money and think about what you could do to grow that, right? Whether it's like doubling it, 5x, 10x, look at what's working and think about how you can do more with it. Even with a bit of a slowdown in Q4, brand deals will still be one of my most profitable income streams from 2022. So if brand deals has been profitable for you, go back to your previous brand partners and pitch them on a long-term collaboration, right? If you can lock in multiple posts across multiple months with them, that gives you some predictability in your income for the future. Or maybe one of your most profitable income streams was digital products. So go back and look at your digital products and say, what's selling the best? Can I offer it in more colors? Can I bundle it with another item to increase my sales per customer? Or could I even go in and modify it, make it better, add some new features to it to justify a price raise so that I can earn more money with less effort, right? So these are all strategies that you can implement in your creator business. And if you do them sooner rather than later, I really do think you'll be putting yourself in a good position moving forward. Speaking of the future, where are we headed next year in terms of 2023 and the creator economy? I mean, we're still coming off of a very high valuation, great success from brands who have hired content creators to promote their products, and content creators taking more time to invest in themselves and grow their full brands outside of just their individual audiences on social media platforms. Last year, I actually did a whole video about trend predictions for 2022, so let me know if you'd like to see a version of that for 2023. But one trend that I have noticed in particular pop up multiple times over the last few weeks that I think is worth mentioning is a shift on social media platforms from just being content to being commerce focused. Yes, I'm talking about social commerce and you might be thinking, Austen, that damn shop button has been on the bottom of my Instagram where notifications used to be for over a year now and I still never click on it. And while I think Instagram has made some progress in shopping, they still have a long ways to go to integrate it fully into the app. But there are two other platforms that are testing shopping features that I think you're going to want to pay attention to. Both TikTok and YouTube have been testing and rolling out shopping features. TikTok has been doing it for a few months now in the UK and several countries in Asia, but as of mid-November, they are rolling it out to the United States as well. And YouTube Shorts is going to be testing out integration of shopping and also affiliates on YouTube Shorts. So that could be huge for creators who have built a following just from Shorts and who have not yet monetized through the YouTube Partner Program. And one thing to keep in mind as influencers and content creators is with this overall shift of social commerce, your success might start to depend more and more on your ability to sell products and really convert. It's been debated over time whether a creator's job is actually to drive sales or just to drive brand awareness, and it can certainly vary depending on products, brands, and specific campaigns. But I do think that in this age of social commerce, once it gets fully integrated into social media platforms, our ability to sell is going to be more closely scrutinized and monitored by brands. Because as the creator economy continues to grow and as people see this as a legitimate job and career path and something that actually converts and makes people money, the expectations are going to grow as well. So even amidst all of these changes and all of the necessary tasks you need to do day to day to maintain and run your creator business, you will do yourself a favor thinking about the long term, thinking 1 to 5 years into the future, and not just what do the next few weeks look like. Don't forget to grab my free guide, The Influencer Launchpad, and take that quiz about finding your why as an influencer so you can always come back to that whenever you're in periods of uncertainty. Be sure to subscribe and follow along for new videos from me every week, and if you want to learn more about long-term success as an influencer, check out the up next recommendation on the screen for where to go next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.